This conversation is powered by Google Illuminate. Check out illuminate.google.com for more. Hey everyone, welcome to our discussion on balancing chemical equations. This is a topic that can seem tricky at first, but with a little practice becomes second nature. We'll be exploring the basics, and hopefully by the end you'll feel confident tackling any equation. So what's the fundamental principle behind balancing chemical equations?
The fundamental principle is the law of conservation of mass. This law states that matter cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Therefore, the total mass of the reactants, the starting materials, must equal the total mass of the products the substances formed. To reflect this, we need to make sure the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the equation.
That makes perfect sense. So how do we actually go about balancing these equations? Let's say we have a simple reaction like hydrogen and oxygen forming water. How would we balance that?
Let's write the unbalanced equation first, H plus O, HO. Notice we have 2 hydrogen atoms on each side, but 2 oxygen atoms on the reactant side and only 1 on the product side. To balance the oxygen, we put a 2 in front of HO, H plus O, or 2HO. Now we have 4 hydrogen atoms on the product side and only 2 on the reactant side. So we put a 2 in front of H plus O, 2HO. Now the equation is balanced.
Great, that was a clear explanation. What about more complex equations with multiple elements and polyatomic ions? Are there any strategies or tips for tackling those?
Absolutely. For more complex equations, it's helpful to start by balancing the elements that appear in only one reactant and one product. Then move on to elements that appear in multiple compounds. Sometimes it's helpful to balance polyatomic ions as a unit rather than balancing each element individually within the ion. Trial and error is often involved, but with practice, you'll develop a feel for it.
Trial and error, you say? That sounds a bit daunting. Are there any common mistakes beginners make when balancing equations?
Yes, a common mistake is changing the subscripts in the chemical formulas. Remember, the subscripts are fixed. They represent the ratio of atoms within a molecule. You can only change the coefficients, the numbers in front of the formulas, to balance the equation. Another common mistake is forgetting to check your work after balancing. Always double-check that the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides.
Excellent advice. Let's try another example. Suppose we have the reaction between methane, CHO, and oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water, HO. Can you walk us through balancing this one?
The unbalanced equation is CH plus O or CO plus HO. Let's start with carbon. There's 1 carbon atom on each side, so that's already balanced. Next, hydrogen. There are 4 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side, so we need a 2 in front of HO, CH plus O, OCO plus 2HO. Now we have 4 oxygen atoms on the product side, 2 from CO and 2 from 2HO, so we need a 2 in front of O on the reactant side, CH plus 2O plus 2HO, and that's balanced.
Fantastic. That was a really helpful explanation. Balancing chemical equations might seem challenging at first, but with practice and a systematic approach, it becomes much easier. Thank you for sharing your expertise.